Now we're going to do the opposite and try to write the equation from the graph that we're given. First thing that I think you need to do anytime you're given a graph and trying to write the equation is you want to try to find where the center of the graph is. What you can do for that is if you look at your highest point and your lowest coordinate point. The highest point is at 6 and the lowest point is at -2. So the difference between them is 8. So that actually tells you that one thing right away, that your amplitude is actually going to be 4, because you're going to be 4 up from the center line and 4 down from the center line. And if we go a full distance of 8, that means we're going to go 4 in the middle, and 4 minus 4 away from 6 is going to be right here at 2. So the one thing that we know first is our amplitude is going to be 4. Now, if you look at this center point, you'll see we're starting at that center point, so we're going to be dealing with sine. You can see that you are shifted up. We're now starting at 2 instead of 0, so you have a +2 at the end. And we've got to look to see if we have any horizontal shifting, which since we're starting right at 2, we do not, so we have no plus b. And we have to look at our period to see where it ends. In this case, it does end at 2 pi, so we have no change in the period, so our b value is just 1, so we don't have anything other than x inside of a parentheses. So let's try another problem. Okay, we are starting up here at 9, right there at 9, and we are going down to 1. So again, we actually have a difference of 8. So again, our amplitude is 4. So what that means is we have a middle center of the graph up at 5. So that tells you another thing, that we are shifted up 5. Now, technically, for every graph that you have, you can use sine or cosine. You just have to edit and have different shifts to them. So I'm actually in this one going to show you how you can write this as both cosine and sine. However, the only thing with both of them is this amplitude will stay the same and the shifting will stay the same. The vertical shifting will stay the same. So if we use this as sine, you'll notice that we're going down first. So if this was my sine, I'm actually going to have a negative. So it would have negative sine. This one has no shift to it, so there's no, since I'm starting right at 0, I have no horizontal shift. So I just basically need to figure out my period. And if you look, you end up with one full period is 2 pi over 3. So what that means is we need to figure out what b value gave us a 2 pi over 3 period. So if you look at setting up that equation, this is the b. You'll have 2 pi over something equals 2 pi over 3. That basically means that b had to have been 3. So we have a 3x in the parentheses. So that would be our sine way of writing it. Now if we had cosine, I'm going to highlight the cosine function so you can see it a little bit better. If we had a cosine function, we would look like that. And what we need to do is actually see how it's shifting. So we need to see how it goes over here and where it starts. And that's halfway between negative pi over 6 and 0. So that's actually going to have a negative, sorry, did I say negative pi over 3? Halfway is going to be negative pi over 6. That's where it starts. So it's going to have the same period. We understand. So they'll both have the same period. So we already know that my b value is 3. So if you think about what we need to have 3 and then times parentheses x plus our shift. And since we're going to the left pi over 6, it's going to be plus pi over 6. So if I multiply that through, we have cosine. And if I multiply that through, I would have 3x plus pi over 2, because 3 times pi over 6 is going to give me 3 pi over 6, which is just pi over 2. So you can write it as either a negative sine function or a cosine function that has been shifted.